My name is Ian, welcome to Planted. I'm on a mission to help you have more success with plants, and I share with you willingly my plant knowledge I've gained since the mid-80s. In this episode, we look at figs, fig production, fig eating, some varieties that you should grow if you can find them. They're not readily available, but they're well worth having. Let's go. This is a fig called Olympia. I bought it about 5 years ago. First 2 or 3 years didn't do much, but I knew this was a great location for it and that it faces west. It gets the long sunshine of an evening in the summer. Now, the Olympia is a very big fig. You see the size of it here compared to some others that we'll see. And what happens is it stays green. It's like this for a long time. Doesn't do much. Then in the space of about 4 days, it doubles in size to go this color, and then you see how that is still stuck out a little bit. We then end up with this, which is perfectly ripe, and you simply have to just pinch it, and there it is. It's got a soft texture like marshmallow. If you pick them too early, they're okay, they're not great. If you leave them too long, they'll fall off and you won't want to eat them. So this texture is just perfect. Oh, that is so good. This is the Olympia fig. There's also a French fig I've had great success with called Longue d'Août or Longue Out, which is French for Long of August. And that is a beautiful fig. It's not quite ready yet, and I'll show you that in just a minute. There's one called Macool. There's another one that I like called Brooklyn White. And then the last one is Sangue Dolce. So these names you are not going to find in garden centres. They're not widely available, but they are available. And I think the key is you have to find the right variety. Don't stick any fig in the ground thinking that somehow it will magically work. Full sunshine is what they need. Do not over-fertilize them. It was in the 4th year that this started to work nicely, and this is its 5th year where it's gone absolutely crazy. So let's go and have a look at some other varieties. So this is the Long of August, and you can see that the figs are much, much smaller. Here's one right here, look. But there's more figs on this tree than there is on the other one. So if you want to try and grow your own fig production crop, I don't mean production crop, if you want to grow your own fig crops for your own use, have 3 or 4 trees with a different harvest window, and that way you don't end up with a glut. Different flavors, different colors, different textures. Having the right varieties is absolutely key. I've said it before and I'll say it again. There's a variety called Black Mission that here in New England just won't work. It won't fruit. It needs lots more heat than we can possibly give it. And this is where this Long of August has surprised me, because like the Olympia, for 3 or 4 years it didn't do much. Now it's got its roots down. It seems to be hardier and it seems to ripen quicker. 2 years ago when I came to this tree and found one ripe fruit in late August, I came back 2 weeks later in September, and there must have been at least another 10 or 15 that had ripened very quickly. So although this looks to be a long time away from ripening, we're halfway through August. We've got 2 weeks of August, 4 weeks of September, 6 weeks of good weather. And I fully expect this to do its magic and work out for us. So in an earlier video I showed you how to cut this back and overwinter it. In December we put a blue container over it. Well, that was cut at about 3 feet high, and from there up, all of this growth is new this year. And this is the growth that's ideal for taking cuttings. So if you were to cut it there in December and cut it there, that's your perfect cutting. In this pot I've got 2 figs, Ficapretto on the left and Black Madeira on the right. Now many people believe in the fig world that these is the same plant, just with 2 different names. I've grown them side by side to look for any similarities in growth pattern, and obviously I can compare the fruit knowing that they've had the same conditions. I had a ripe Black Madeira years ago on a different plant and it was delicious. This is the Black Madeira. This year this one hasn't set fruit, which is fine, I don't mind. But as you see, the Falcapreto has got lots of fruit on it. And I'm very keen to see how that tastes later this year. This plant is not good for New England. It does need lots of heat, which is why I have it growing in a pot. This will get put in the greenhouse soon to help it ripen, and then it'll stay in there all winter and also come into leaf earlier in the springtime. Now this is one of my earlier figs that I bought off eBay. You see it's got quite a nice sized trunk there, given that it's in a small pot. This is a variety called McCool. Now McCool sets smaller fruit. There's many varieties that will give you a physically smaller fruit. And all they need is less time to ripen. So I've had this ripen for me reliably in previous years, and fully expect it to do this year. So I think if you can find McCool, it's a really good bet. Great plant, very robust, on the hardier side. So this plant is Sangue Dolce. I traded to get a cutting of this plant and was able to root it. I've had the Breba crop earlier this year, there weren't many, but this is the main crop. You can see there's lots of figs in there. They are quite small, which means that they ripen reliably. I've got this on a south-facing wall. This is quite happy because this is the main stem right here. And it's put out a nice new shoot. So it's got lots of energy and is in a good situation. Now, if ever you want to propagate the tree, you can take cuttings. And there's lots of information about cuttings on my YouTube channel. But when you have a branch like this that comes out, you can move this to the side, and then you can pin that down. You can get irrigation has got these little metal pins about 5 inches long. Pin that down and it will root for you. And then you would cut it there once you know it's rooted. And then you can reliably pot it on. But this is a fig called Brooklyn White. Something well worth having. But it's got completely shaded, so it's not doing much. It's not dead. I will get in here and trim it out and give it some more daylight. But as you see, not a lot of foliage because it can't get the sunlight to generate the energy, and it's never ever going to fruit back here. So I need to come in here and make that right. So that's Brooklyn White. So I've just featured some great varieties for you to try and find. I found them very reliable, sturdy, hardy, tough, and they actually fruit rather than just a load of foliage. So thank you for watching. Do go out there and look at some other videos on the Planted channel. There's lots of information on growing figs and cuttings and overwintering. Let this be the year that you can look forward to having figs in your own yard. Tell your friends, tell your family. I'd very much like to have you as a subscriber. On that note, happy planting.